your blessing now.
Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, June 13, 2023 Urbandale City Council meeting. I will call the council meeting to order and ask Nicole to take roll call, please.
Blake?
Here.
Carberry Montgomery?
Here.
McBurney?
Here.
Obra?
Here.
All right, and Councilmember Kroll is under the weather today. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance as you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Urbandale is a national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is approve the agenda. Motion by Blake.
Second.
Second by
That guy.
McBurney. Sorry. The guy on the end. You're on the end today.
I am on the end.
Second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. I don't know why I do that. I just want to say motion by Larry. All right, that passes. All right, item 3, presentations. We have 2 presentations tonight. First is a proclamation regarding Juneteenth. Whereas it is recognized that on June 19, 1865 in Galveston, Texas, word was finally received that 2 years prior, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. And since then, across the nation, Juneteenth has been held with celebrations and remembrance. And whereas in 2021, Congress set aside and President Biden signed into law June 19th as a federal holiday. And whereas Juneteenth is more than a day of observance, it is a day to recommit to the work of equality and justice. It is a day to continue the path started by educators, civil rights leaders, courageous citizens, public officials, and everyday Americans that have struggled to lead the way in lasting justice. Now, therefore, I, Robert Andweg, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, on behalf of the Urbandale City Council, do hereby proclaim June 19th as a day of observance in the City of Urbandale and encourage all residents to act each day to end systemic racism. We sign that. And we also then have a very special proclamation about Go Skateboarding Day. Whereas Go Skateboarding Day was created by the International Association of Skateboarding in 2004 to make skateboarding more accessible and to help grow local skateboarding communities where youth can come together. And whereas skateboarding is an activity that promotes physical and mental health, social skills, and personal interactions at the 20,000 plus skate parks around the world, on which is one here in Urbandale. And whereas the City of Urbandale opened a skateboarding park at Walker Johnson Regional Park in 2004, and skateboarding made its Olympic debut in 2022 at the Tokyo Games. And whereas June 21st is the official start of summer and the longest day of the year, now therefore I, Robert Andweg, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, on behalf of the Urbandale City Council, the Urbandale Parks and Recreation Department, and the entire community proclaim June 21, 2023 as Go Skateboarding Day in the City of Urbandale, and encourage everyone to take advantage of the many benefits of skateboarding by picking up a skateboard and going to skate. And I want to introduce, we had someone here that was very, wanted to make sure that we did a proclamation for Skateboarding Day. Her name is Luca Neal. Luca, I'd like you to come up and I'm going to hand you this proclamation and you want to say a few words. All right, we are in Citizens Forum. This is the time to address the council. Before we do that, though, we are going to recognize the 4th of July committee. We were going to do that at the last meeting, and I don't think the buttons were ready then, but the buttons are ready now. So, Mary, if you want to come up and introduce who's with you here tonight, and we'll do the 4th of July presentation. I have my $20 ready, too. 20? Doesn't that give me 4? If you have it. Here's my football number.
So, on behalf of the 4th of July committee, first I'd like to
She's one of our awesome fundraisers. And then behind me is Tim Mueller, who is the president of our committee. I'm the treasurer, and I guess the pushing the buttons.
All right.
Here we are. Yeah, as you said, the buttons were not ready before, but we have them now. They go on sale. Also, I'd like to thank the council for all of your support. The donation that we've already received or will be receiving from the budget, the hotel motel. And I also would like to really push the fireworks this year. We had a family donate to us $45,000 strictly for the fireworks. So they are going to be awesome.
To be spent this year.
Yes, all has to be spent this year. So like our fireworks typically are 27 minutes long. This year they'll be 40 minutes. Last year we shot off 700 shells. This year we're shooting off 1,100 shells.
Okay.
So get your space early.
All right.
So we got big shoes to fill next year.
No kidding.
But we're working on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, buttons?
Yeah, you want to sell some of these? Or?
Yeah.
All right, this is kind of our official kickoff. Present you with button number 1.
Here, I'll take that.
Great.
And here's 75.
Yes, you can pick some more.
You want to pick?
Now we'll make the rounds here. Yeah, perfect.
I'm going to come right behind you.
So you don't get to access the money, is what she's just saying.
No.
Thank you.
Checks and balances.
Thank you.
And while they're doing that, I just want to point out again, first of all, thanks to the 4th of July Committee for doing this. This is truly a thankless job. But the 4th of July celebration in Urbandale is truly one of a kind, and the 4th of July Committee goes above and beyond to do that. Contrary to popular belief, as they said, well, this year they've raised some private money for the fireworks, but a lot of what happens every year at the 4th of July is not done by city funds. We certainly try to help with our staff and do things like that, but the 4th of July Committee really does a great job of fundraising and organizing, so thank you very much for everything you do to make it such a great event in our community. So,
We're just 3 of the 20, about 20 volunteers that we have this year on the committee, so.
thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. And make sure you buy your buttons, so. All right, thank you. You know, last time we had to say that we didn't cancel the 4th of July because we had to take that off the agenda. So I want to make sure people thought we knew that we didn't actually cancel 4th of July, so. All right, we are still in citizens forum. This is the opportunity for anyone to address the council for something that's not on tonight's agenda. Is there anyone who'd like to address the council this time? And we'll move on then. Item 5 is to move the minutes from May 30. Motion by McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 6 is the consent agenda. There are 8 items for approval. Motion by McBurney,
Second.
second by Carberry Montgomery. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Moving on to public hearings. Item 7 is a public hearing to consider the Living History Farms Machine Shed Amendment to the Planned Unit Development Master Plan at 11151 Hickman Road. The public notice for this was published in the May 30, 2023 Des Moines Register. Is there any objections to that notice is published?
There were none.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Motion by McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That passes. And introducing this is our Community Development Director, Steve Franklin. Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening all. So this is a request by the Heart of America Group to amend this particular PUD to allow a chicken coop as an accessory use to the Machine Shed Restaurant. So Hickman Road here at the bottom of the screen next to the interstate. You all know they also own the 2 hotel properties. And then this is where the Machine Shed Restaurant is located. And the location, I include a little map, I'll show that here in a section, is just kind of on the northeast behind the restaurant back there. So let me go to that. There we go. So there's the restaurant. This is the enclosure that will include both the coop and the enclosure. So all the chickens would be in an enclosure. Would be about 450 square feet. And what is planned is to have 20 laying hens and 1 rooster in that coop. So Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval, subject to items noted. I would be happy to answer any questions, although if you have questions, Jenny Drake with Heart of America Legal Counsel for them is here and could probably answer questions too.
Any questions for Steve on this? All right, we are in public hearing on this item. Would anyone like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery,
Second.
second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Approval, Councilor 7469.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. We'll look forward to some farm fresh eggs at Machine Shed. Thanks, Jenny. Item 7.2 is a public hearing and consideration of bids for the 128th Street culvert improvements. And the public notice for this was published also, in the May 26, 2023 Des Moines Register. Ask any objections to that notice is published.
There were none.
Ask for motion to open this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by McBurney, second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That passes. And to introduce this is our Director of Engineering and Public Works, John Larson. John?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This is our bid tabulation for our 128th Street Culvert Improvements Project. So it was last Wednesday, June 7th, that we received 5 bids for this project. We're recommending the low bid from Rognus Corp. in the amount of $247,043.00. This bid was unfortunately about $70,000 or 39% more than our engineer's estimate. With this project, we're looking to increase the capacity of the storm sewer culverts that are under 128th Street. That would help with the development to the west. Just wanted to note, since this project was not in the original CIP, the developer is actually fronting the costs, and then they're looking for the potential of a TIF rebate once they do development in the future in the amount of $125,000. We're anticipating the project would be completed by October 1st of this year. So to kind of show where we're at, on the bottom of the screen, here's Meredith Drive, 128th Street, and then in the red circle are 2 existing culverts that we have. They are 30-inch twin culverts today. And this kind of shows what we're doing here is the existing pipes. We're going to bore a 24-inch culvert adjacent to it to increase the capacity of the storm sewer, construct a new intake, and then also construct a new outlet that'll help kind of align better with the drainage that is on the east side of the road for their development. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right, John, thank you. Any questions for John from the council? All right, then we are in public hearing on this item. Would anyone like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes.
Motion to approve resolution 117-2023.
Motion by McBurney. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Motion to approve resolution 118-2023.
Motion by McBurney. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
And motion to approve resolution 119-2023.
Motion by McBurney. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. And that passes. Thank you. Item 7.3 is a public hearing and consideration of bids for the Walker Johnston Park Creek Access Project. The public notice for this was published in the June 1, 2023 Des Moines Register. Ask any objections to that notice is published.
There were none.
Ask for a motion to open the public hearing. Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes, and the staff requests that we continue this to the June 27 meeting. Scott, did you want to add anything tonight?
Happy to answer any questions, but no.
All right, thank you. And just for the record, I'll note, I don't think I see anybody here that would want to, but is there anyone in the room that would like to address the council on this item tonight since the public hearing is open? All right, seeing none then, is there a motion to continue this to the June 27 meeting? Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. And that passes. All right, thank you. Item 8 is to establish public hearings versus item 8.1 to establish the public hearing for the fiscal year 22-23 budget amendment number 1. And Curtis, do you have anything that you want to add on that?
There's questions.
Is there a motion?
Council letter 7464.
Motion by Blake,
Second.
second by Carberry Montgomery. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 8.2 is to establish the public hearing for the Lions Park splash pad. Scott would answer any questions on this if there are. Or do you have something to add, Scott?
Nope, I saw the ventilation unit was on my written agenda, but maybe I'm missing that. Oh, no, this is the.
This is
public
to
hearing.
establish the public hearing. No,
It's next, if you just want to stay up there.
well, it's not next, but Chief Old has something next, but, so is there a motion on this?
Motion to approve council letter 7466.
Motion by McBurney,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9, regular agenda items versus item 9.1 is to consider the 28E agreement on the funding and operation of mobile ventilation unit. Chief?
I'll talk about splash pad.
Chief Old.
Mayor, council members, this is the culmination of the mobile ventilation unit that we have talked about and you recently approved for purchase. So we purchased that several months ago, and this is bringing all the cities together to help pay for it. Urbandale funded the money of $191,000. This agreement allows the 7 cities to have a 28E agreement for each city paying approximately $27,350 something to fund that. We also have a mechanism in the 2080 agreement. If any city that's not a part of that wants to use it, we will establish a price for that so that it won't be just you call us and we provide you something for free, that everybody had an opportunity to go in on. As a reminder, it's an infrequently used item, so it didn't really make sense for any one department to purchase it. And it's a perfect thing for a joint effort so that we all split the cost without having to buy such an expensive piece of equipment. The city attorney had reviewed the 2080 agreement, and it has already been adopted by Ankeny, and it's out for the rest of them to be considered as well. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Just a curiosity, the Grimes, Johnston, are they treated as one or two?
They're treated as one. It's one fire department, so both of those cities will split the cost to come up to that $27,000 based on their percentages as they share the fire department.
Will we get to keep it?
What's that?
I said, do we get to keep it here?
Yes, it'll be housed at Station 43 for the immediate future.
And I was talking to Chief Rob at the Chill and Grill, and he was commenting that maybe we could try it out at National Night Out.
Absolutely. Well, you say that in jest, but Ankeny is interested in using it for Ragbri.
Yeah.
The problem is terribly noisy, but it has the ability to spray water to make a mist as well. So it would be ideal for that type of operation. And one might say, well, that's kind of wasteful, but the more you use it, the more familiar you get with it, the more likely you are to use it when you need it. So we'll be encouraging all opportunities to use it.
All right. Wonderful. Is there a motion?
Move council letter 7459.
Motion by Obrecht,
Second.
second by McBurney. Discussion, please vote. That passes. All right, item 9.2 is consider the purchase of the Lions splash pad equipment, and racing up to the podium is Assistant Director of Parks and Rec, Scott Hoke. Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Scott Hoke with Parks and Recreation. I apologize for coming up early. I just got excited that I heard splash pad. I'm like, oh, it's my turn. So and as I'm pulling this up, I do want to remind the council, if you didn't see it on your way in, the mobile recreation unit is parked out front. And if you're interested, tomorrow, it'll be out at the regional park from 11 a.m. to 3:30 for tie-dye. So put that on your calendar. So, but again, here today to talk about the splash pad equipment. We just approved the public hearing for the installation. This is for the equipment that will go as part of that installation packet. A little bit of background in regards to where we are with Lions. That wading pool was removed in 2021. Last year, we did a master plan for Lions Park, and the splash pad was identified as the first thing that we wanted to go after. And then we recently hired Snyder and Associates to do the design work for the splash pad based off the input that we received in the master plan. This was, again, a request for equipment with a cost not to exceed $245,000. This wasn't we're taking a low bid. We are evaluating the equipment to get the best equipment that we can have for down there. It includes the pumps, lighting, spray features for the splash pad. A second contract will be issued probably at the next meeting for the installation of the improvements, which will include the sidewalks, shade structure, and that will all be done as a separate contract. We had a total of 3 qualifying proposals submitted from 2 different vendors, and then a third company did submit for the project but didn't meet the required qualifications that we had put out prior. Here are the proposals that we received. Again, 2 came from Outdoor Recreation Products and 1 from Commercial Recreation Specialist. The proposals were evaluated by staff, as well as we put it out for kind of an online survey. I want to clarify, not a vote, right? We're not necessarily voting for which one you like best. We wanted to receive comments and see what people liked. We had over 400 different people comment. We had quite a few people comment several times. That's one of the beauties of the internet, to continue to make comments. And we received great comments, and by far we believe the biggest input that we got from our online, as well as what staff saw, was option A from Outdoor Recreation Products. Both the Outdoor Recreation Products did well, but in the online survey, the shade was more visible, which is not part of this contract. So a lot of people said, oh, we like this one, and a lot of them mentioned the shade. So, but again, the option A did receive even more positive comments. Again, over 400 people commented, and it was overwhelmingly positive. And again, it's just something we use as part of our evaluation process. This is the equipment that will be included should it be approved. You can see it is very full and very active. The shade structures, again, are there just for visual. They are not part of the contract, but we will provide some great shade. One thing about the shade is you don't necessarily want it over the features themselves. In our situation, what happens is then the concrete never dries out very well and it gets slick. So we always want to be careful there, but there will be great shade in there. There's still a few great trees close by that'll provide a little bit of shade as well too, but constant shade becomes difficult. I'll show you a few images of what we have. It is set up to be in kind of 3 different areas. There's a tot zone, which is primarily for, of course, your smaller children, a family zone. It's a little more interactive. And then what we have, we call it the dynamic zone. So it kind of progresses a little bit and kind of goes through as we progress through the pieces. So you can see a little bit more active use here. I will want to point out that on the far left there, the person is activating the splash pad. It doesn't run 24 or, from 8 to 10 or whatever, we'd leave it on. It does get activated. So if it's a slow, cooler day, the water wouldn't be running. You come up, you press the button, and then that starts the features. And then kind of go through a cycle, right? They don't all run at one time. There's just not enough water for that. But it just kind of cycles through some of the different pieces. So I'll show you a few highlights too. This is just a different angle, looking the other direction.
It's a quick question on water usage while we're talking about that, I guess. I see it's 234 gallons a minute rated. I mean, how much of that's recycling back water that it's there versus use of water?
So this is a pass-through system. So it does go through, it's not captured or reused. In order to do that, you would have to, filtration system, all of those things come along with it. Along with, you'd be required to have showers, indoor showers and restrooms and all of that stuff, which would be another level of cost. So it does pass through. But again, it's not running constantly, right?
So what's your expectation, I guess, of usage?
Well, we're planning for the worst because we have to, in regards to the amount of stormwater, sanitation that would need to flow through. We'll open it probably around 9 or 10 in the morning. That's the active times. We'll play that a little bit by ear based on what the demand is, and then we'll run it till probably 9 o'clock at night. And in there, it'll probably run 35 to 40% of the time. So that would be a rough estimate, I think. So if it runs more, great, because then we nailed it. So we'd be happy with that, so.
And I guess just out of curiosity, surrounding splash pads, are they pass-through systems too?
So there's a mix throughout the state. Some are pass-through and some are closed systems. So there is a little bit of a mix out there, so.
So you said that this is activatable by a button.
Yep, let me get back to the, so yeah, to the left of the screen over there, that's the activator. So we'll put it on, and then we can control how long it runs. We can say, oh, run the system for half an hour, run the systems for 15 minutes, run it for an hour. Typically, you'd run it for about 20 minutes to half an hour before you'd have to press the button again. You know, if one person showed up, played for a half an hour, they could hit it again, or if they happened to leave, it would run a little bit and then it would shut itself down.
And so will this button be available to use 24/7?
Typically, because we do have park hours, we would limit it in the park hours for sure. And then a lot of times, we shut them down a little bit early, it does create some noise. You know, they're not, I mean, it's the water running and stuff. So typically you would see the splash pad would be open at 9 or 10 o'clock and then close at 8 o'clock or so.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure when you said that it was activatable by a button that somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning wasn't spamming the button.
Correct. No, it will, yeah. After park hours, the timer would shut it off, so you could not activate it, so.
The button's on the tot side, so that button will be just pushed all the time, so it's constantly running.
Just wanted to highlight a few features because I feel that we have a really good system here. We have some overhead features. Some will just flow water, some will surprise you when they dump, and then some you can actually interact with and make some changes and move the water a little bit when you spin that one. We have some at body level options as well. You can run through the sprayer. We have some ground level ones, and then we did make sure we wanted to include an ADA accessible table to be able to interact if you happen to be on a chair, or again, children of all sizes can interact with it, but it is a great option for those in mobile devices. A little bit about the timetable. Again, we'll be letting the bid this spring. Construction would start this fall, and then the goal would be to open next spring. Staff is recommending the proposal from Outdoor Recreation Products, option A, in the amount of $244,800 for the splash pad and equipment for Lions Park, and I'd be happy to answer any additional questions.
Just thinking, kind of along what we've been talking about as far as the pass-through versus, sometimes I get a vision, especially where we are, is if we're in drought conditions and we're asking residents to not irrigate or things like that, are we going to have a policy where we don't turn this on in the summertime, even though, it's hot outside and people want to use this? If we're in drought conditions, maybe it's something we need to consider that we don't turn this thing on. And
So some cities have gone to that into extreme conditions and made those determinations, right? It is a balance between we have high temperatures and we want to be able to cool the kids off versus the drought conditions. So that could be something that we could bring forth to council to say, okay, this might be a time that we might want to consider shutting it down.
Well, this looks really, really cool. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Will we be able to, the Clive Aquatic Center closes, August 20th. Will we plan to keep, or, I'm just making that up, but will we be able to keep this running through, September, mid-September, or whenever it really the desire to go outside and play in the water
That is one of
stops.
the beauties of having it have no depth to it, right? We don't have staffing requirements, so we can keep this open as long as weather allows us to, right? And typically, yeah, you would go into probably later September. Eventually, you get into colder temperatures, right, where it's no longer worthwhile, and we do have to winterize it.
Right,
But
but-
yeah, we would open it as soon as weather permitted and close it as late as we could, so.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I'm excited to see improvements at Lions Park, and I look forward to a similar situation out at Walnut Creek Regional Park in the years to come. So I'll move approval of Council Letter 7461.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery. Second by Blake. Discussion, please vote. That passes. All right, thank you, Scott. Item 9.3 is consider the equipment purchase for the police patrol vehicles, and John Conyer would answer any questions there. John, do you have anything further to add that you want? Okay.
Yes.
There were some. Come on up, John.
You're getting away with it.
So,
Erin and I had a bet whether I owe her coffee and chocolate now.
yep. And thank you for the response to the questions that we kind of asked earlier, but mine goes back to the October 6th item. So we have one vehicle that could be purchased on October 6th, or that was from that. What's that expected delivery on that one?
All of the vehicles that are at through Stivers Ford have been put into the queue, and they've provided no additional updates as of yesterday for vehicles being delivered. So the city has 11 of those on order with Stivers at the moment. None of them have been fulfilled, and they have no dates to fulfill those at this point in time, but they have not been canceled.
And so I guess removing ourselves from the queue is kind of my question with that. Do we really want to remove ourselves from the queue on these vehicles without unknown delivery dates, and if there's no penalty for sitting in the queue?
The authorization here tonight and removing that is not taking us out of the queue at Ford. It's removing the authorization for the purchase side through our finance department. So you've given authorization to purchase up to 10 vehicles. And so there's POs open there for those 10 vehicles. And by purchasing these and the two we did last time, those POs do not need to be open at this point in time. The ones at Ford are still there, and we can keep those open. And if they were to become available, say in October or even maybe March of next year, we could come back to council at that point in time and ask those to be reauthorized.
Okay. I missed that part of the process, so thank you for explaining that better.
It's a little convoluted at times.
Yes.
Any other questions I'd be happy to answer?
All right, thanks, John.
Motion to
Council Letter
approve Council Letter
7470.
Got dueling motions here.
Go for it.
Whichever.
Guy
I'll
on the
By
second his
McBurney,
motion.
second by Obrecht. Discussion.
That works too.
Please vote. The mayor calls it.
Yeah.
We,
I was so engrossed with the discussion of who was going to.
all right, that passes. Thank you. That's the end of our regular agenda. And mayor and council items, Larry? Anything?
The only thing I had, and I don't know, John, I might get in trouble for saying it because it doesn't officially release until tomorrow, but Grow Solar is kicking off tomorrow morning. Press release will be going out. They have their first solar power hour tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. at the Franklin Avenue Library in Des Moines. I don't see that we have scheduled one here in Urbandale, and given the success that we had in the past, I would recommend that if we can work with them to get something scheduled at the City Hall.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, Larry, I was talking to some folks in Dallas County, and I know like the Urbandale, Clive, West Des Moines, Dallas County are included, but is like, would Waukee be eligible, or do you know?
I don't think that they are, John, right? Yeah, as I said, I don't think that they are.
Okay.
It was specifically for Polk County. They understood that because of our borders, that they would have to extend a little bit into Dallas County to
Okay.
incorporate all of the municipalities, but anything outside of that is not within this program.
Well, awesome. I hope we can get one scheduled.
Yes. Yeah, and
here in
Curtis, I'll
Urbandale.
forward you this email that has the list of open dates, and I'll include you on there too, John.
All right, thanks, sir. And I want to, I'll just put in the word, you mentioned the Filipino American Society deal that you had Saturday or Sunday?
Yes, we had our event on Sunday. We had well over 200 people. It was packed wall to wall. Yeah, it was a very successful event. I appreciate the mayor coming out.
Yep.
We were happy to recognize him and provide him with some goodies, and then also thank you for the opening remarks. It was very well done.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Wonderful food, too.
I can only
Who
imagine.
was crowned queen?
You would have to ask me, and I can see the Queen, Miss Teen, and Little Miss Philippines. I don't recall their names, but we do have it published on our Facebook, so
Okay.
it is out there.
Well, it was a great event, and again, thanks for everything you guys do for the Urbandale community.
Yeah, thank you for hosting us.
Absolutely. Matt?
Not too much for me. Staff, thank you for putting up for me while I miss meetings from time to time or other events, because I haven't had a full night of sleep in a while, so I continue to appreciate your patience. I will say, I kind of hinted at the mayor, and for those that may be up for reelection, I am phasing myself out a little bit of the 4th of July celebration, but the thing I'm still in charge of in MC is the pie eating contest. So for those that want to participate, there's still plenty of opportunities.
And even for those who don't want to participate.
That's exactly it. So again, the sign up is online. I will send you that, and I look forward to seeing you all there, right? No? Okay, that's it for me.
Yes. All right, great. Thanks. Adam?
Since we talked about water tonight, Citizen Water Academy is looking for people. So Des Moines Water Works puts on a water academy in William G. Stowe's name. October 5th through 26th, there's 18 hours of instruction time you go through with 4 sessions. So if you've got time in your day on Thursdays to kill, they are looking for participants to go through the academy and learn about all the joys of the Des Moines Water Works.
Are you signing up?
Don't think so, but wanted to share it out there because I know others have gone through it, and it is,
Yeah.
I've heard the curriculum piece a little bit, and it is a great learning experience to learn where we get our drinking water from, and there is a large process that goes into it.
Yeah, I have not gone through it either, but I think Dave Russell did when he was on the council, and just in my experience sitting through hours and hours and hours of regional water meetings, I learned a lot. There's so much to learn that, to the casual eye is not immediately apparent. So as we move toward regional water, if you have an interest or desire to learn about it more, I would highly recommend it. I think it would be a good event to do. So thanks for bringing that up. Bridget?
Well, as I was cruising down here for the meeting, I was happily surprised to see the public art part of Douglas Avenue installed, are starting to be installed. That's looking awesome. I'm sure eventually everything will get tidied up with the weeds and whatnot, but I think that is what I mean, not to the extent, but I would love to see us do more in our medians, just with plantings and trees and whatnot. If Clive can do it, we can do it, is always my motto. So, but no, those blue blades look awesome. Was glad to be able to participate in the Grill and Chill. Thank you for the staff to organize, who organized that last week. It's great to have a chance to hang out with the people that do the work to make us look so good. And then also had a chance to attend the Party in the Park on Friday night. Great community event, lots of great food and music and beverages and great activities. So I love that when we can have community events like that. So thank you to the Parks Department for that.
It was my first Vietnamese food, so. Yes.
It was a beautiful night for it, too. That's for sure. And the senior center had, I wasn't able to attend because I was at the Filipino event, but I know that the senior center had a flute and harp concert on Sunday afternoon too, over and they gave us Memorial Garden. That was very well attended too. So a lot of events that were sponsored by the city this weekend. So thanks for everybody for doing that, so. I don't have anything further to add, I don't think, at this point. So we do have a closed session item. Ask for motion to enter into closed session.
So moved.
Motion by Carberry Montgomery,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. Please vote.
I was like, I'm done.
Suppose we could take it. All right. That passes. Thanks, Curtis.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, we're back in open session. We have concluded the closed session, item 11. So we are at the end of our agenda. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.